Watching KAPP TV, Channel 35, Yakima. Your total news coverage from the Cascades to the Columbia Basin. This is ABC Local News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for watching tonight. I'm Renee McCullough. Growers are calling it a sweet deal. The U.S. Department of Agriculture will now let growers export sweet cherries to Mexico. In the mid-'80s, sweet cherries did very well in Mexican markets, but in 1991, the Mexican government closed its market to American cherries, claiming problems with pests. A North American Free Trade Agreement panel reviewed the dispute and came up with this new agreement. Central Washington Representative Doc Hastings says the agreement is good news for local growers.
Anytime you can get more markets for your commodities, that has to be advantageous to the economy and to those growers that grow sweet cherries. So.
People who grow and pack Central Washington cherries are also beaming. Local cherry growers say they're glad they've got their business back. Growers lost a lot of business in '91 when the deal was revoked with the Mexican government. Northwest Cherry Growers Public Relations Director B.J. Thirlby says Mexico is a tremendous market. He says it's a country of consumers who have a bit of a sweet tooth when it comes to our fruit.
There's quality importers that buy a lot of apples and a lot of pears, and there's no reason they're not going to buy a lot of cherries. In fact, we already know several people who have called from that market and wondered when it is, to find out the specifics of our industry and what time we ship and when our seasons are. So we're excited about that.
Thirlby says this is a great opportunity for a big profit because Mexico is right next to the United States and cherries can be distributed by truck instead of a costly airplane. And living in an agricultural community, we all face health risks because of dust particles in the air. Wind erosion of soil from dry and irrigated farmland produces dust. More dust means particles that can get caught in people's lungs. Doctors are concerned about the health risks from dust pollution, but changing farming techniques can help reduce the amount of dust and the health risks. Researchers say they're working on solutions, but nothing's going to happen overnight.
Controlling dust from agricultural fields is going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of people, but I think what we've done is put together a really good team that's working on it with a lot of different agencies.
Members from the Department of Ecology and Environmental Protection Agency met at the Red Lion in Richland today. They're going to put out a manual for growers with information on ways to change techniques to reduce dust amounts. Washington Governor Gary Locke could not be in the Tri-Cities tonight, so he sent a letter to supporters of a test reactor at Hanford who thrown at a reception. The reception was to celebrate their halfway to their goal. The supporters want the Fast Flux test facility to be started back up. It would make tritium for the nation's defense and medical isotopes for cancer research. In Locke's letter tonight, he offered his best wishes. And Locke says he does support restarting the reactor, but only if it produces medical isotopes. The production of the cancer-fighting medical isotopes is one way that the FTF could use its reactor. The other would be to produce tritium for military use. Locke says he would not support restarting the FFTF simply for military purposes, but he says he understands tritium production will finance medical isotope production. And the production of isotopes is important to not only the local economy, but also to medicine.
Benefits of isotopes is tremendous with respect to cancer research and treatment, and that could really help establish the Tri-Cities area as a medical research center, and one that I think we ought to pursue.
Former Governor Mike Lowry did not support the restart of FFTF. And there's a lot about Hanford that many of us don't know about, like there was a full-blown prison camp right in our own backyard. Trova Hutchins gets the story firsthand.
I would be about in the living room right here.
You'd never know it now. Bob Taylor is showing you one of two well-guarded communities that existed side by side. One, a full-blown prison camp during World War II.
We all knew that there was something on the other side of that fence over there that we couldn't go near. We had no idea what it was.
It was Hanford. And while the nuclear site's history has come under tight scrutiny, the other community, the federal prison camp, is all but forgotten. You can still see part of the camp's foundation, the streets, even where a young Bob Taylor crashed his bike into a tree.
There really isn't anybody else that really has any idea that this even existed, that there were dormitories, the power plant.
All part of a 4-year stretch of Taylor's childhood that ironically started D-Day, June 6, 1944.
And it was so dark at noon because of the dust blowing. I remember my mother was in a total state of panic.
Taylor's father had been the camp superintendent. Over the years, he's tried to piece the camp's history together with his father's pictures and letters. He found this telling memo. The federal government called in about 250 inmates from prisons like Alcatraz to keep up hundreds of acres of farm fields. The government had forced the farmers off their land to build the atomic bomb, but no one knew, not the prisoners or the families of the officers.
No, they didn't. They had no idea. The officers had no idea why they were here. They were simply here to maintain orchards that had been acquired by the federal government.
When the war ended, the price of labor shot up and the camp came down. 50 years later, Taylor moved back to Richland and his roots. On the surface, there isn't much of this stretch of his childhood left, but the pictures, the foundation, and the streets that remain are all signs that other well-guarded community did exist. I'm Trova Hutchins, ABC Local News.
The Washington Horse Racing Commission is coming down the stretch on its decision to bring live horse racing back to Yakima Meadows. About 100 racing fans turned out this afternoon at the Meadows to speak out about a request to relicense the facility. Last year, the former tenants bailed out on their commitments to race in the winter season. The Central Washington Fair Board is now trying to take over the operation. Racing manager Billy Alliment says Yakima needs live horse racing. He says it brings money to the community.
It's part of a great industry in the state of Washington. It's somewhere in the entire state is about $300 million to the economy of the state of Washington, and we represent about 15% of that here in the Yakima Valley, which is about $45 million.
Yakima Meadows also provides about 100 jobs every season. The Racing Commission is expected to make a written decision in the next week or so. There's been a settlement between Smith's Home Furnishings and some of its customers who bought items before the store closed. That's coming up at about 18 after the hour, and we'll show you a new lifelike way teachers are teaching kids about pregnancy prevention. That's also coming up, plus we'll have your weather forecast as we head into the weekend. First though, let's take a look at conditions outside right now.
Gretchen and Scott, you say you're building your home from scratch, and you've got almost everything from Eagle Hardware. Like what?
Jeez, we'll start with the wood.
Yeah.
Wire, plumbing.
Boxes, electrical boxes.
Yeah.
My single project was to wire the whole house.
Wow.
It's 2.5 years of our lives, but we'll really have something to show when it's done. Eagle Hardware is our social life. It has been for the past 2.5 years.
Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything.
Get organized now with SystemWorks, the all-purpose fast and easy storage system you can install yourself. Nothing works like SystemWorks at Eagle.
Imagine actually enjoying winter driving.
It's easy if you choose a new Mercury Mountaineer now.
Imagine V8 power standard.
Mountaineer gives you V8 power, the control of all-wheel drive, and more interior space than Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Can you imagine a better place to spend the winter?
And Mountaineer's priced even less than you'd imagine, just $27,995. Get into one now and enjoy the rest of the winter.
Don't wait for spring. See your Mercury dealer now.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
More than 140,000 Americans have joined Peace Corps. Returning home, their experiences last a lifetime. Meet Lily Lindsay, a teacher in Virginia, and Scott Truex, a mayor and business owner in Colorado.
The challenges that I face as a Peace Corps worker were the same for me as a public schools teacher. Now I have a more global view.
The one aspect of the Peace Corps that really helped me in business and as the mayor of Crested Butte was learning how to work with people.
Changing America and changing the world. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
Hello. Excuse me. What do you think of these new car prices? Oh, you're so right. Way too high. Bet you don't even want to look, do you? You know, Performance Volkswagen Audi Suzuki has brand new Suzuki Swifts for $79.90, Volkswagen Jettas for $199 a month, and even Suzuki Esteems for just $129 a month. So, what do you think? Performance Volkswagen Audi Suzuki, first in Meade.
Who exposed a deadly defect that put millions at risk? This year's winner of 5 major journalism awards, Inside Edition.
Looks like we've got a sunny weekend in store. Pretty nice out there today, too. It was windy in the Tri-Cities, but it still managed to hit 55 degrees, and the winds did calm down early this afternoon. Yakima and Walla Walla both hit 50 degrees today, just a little cooler and a little cloudier today in Pendleton. Much of the west had a calm day. Some scattered light showers across Washington, northern Idaho, Montana, northwestern Colorado, and eastern Utah. Much of this is falling as snow in the higher elevations. Accumulations have been light except in Utah, with the mountains seeing anywhere between 6 and 10 inches of new snow on the ground tonight. Flooding in the southern plains tonight, which has been getting a lot of rain again today. Parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas have had up to 4 inches of rain just today alone. There have also been severe thunderstorms with large hail, gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, and some tornadoes in central and northern Texas today. Those conditions will spread eastward over the next 24 to 36 hours. Alabama, Mississippi, and western Tennessee seeing that rain move in tonight. Heavy rain also falling over much of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region. Rain showers will slowly push into the northeast by later tonight. If you're headed west tonight, it is drying out tonight in Seattle and Portland. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows in the 30s and 40s. Snow's tapering off in the Cascades, so the road should be in fairly good shape if you're headed that way this weekend. In Spokane, it's a little cloudy, but it is dry. Lows will be in the upper 20s. Let's see what conditions are like a little closer to home. Hot spot tonight, Tri-Cities, 36 degrees. Pretty nice all around in the mid-30s tonight. Checking our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies, but it will become clear as we head into the night. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Tomorrow in the Tri-Cities, we're going to see mostly sunny skies. Nice way to start our weekend. Temperatures in the mid-40s. Tonight in Yakima, forecast calling for mostly clear skies with some patchy valley fog in the morning. Should burn off by the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s. Tonight in Yakima, mostly sunny skies. We are going to have more clouds moving in the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow in Yakima in the mid-40s. Checking our forecast for the weekend. Pretty nice. Temperatures in the mid-50s throughout the whole week. Sunshine, a little fog in the morning on Saturday, but it should burn off. Some students are getting a first-hand look at what it's like to be a parent. Kamiakin High School purchased 26 lifelike babies. The computerized babies cry. Teachers can even tell when students abuse the dolls. Jim Carey reports.
These babies may look real. That's because they're supposed to. They're Kamiakin High School's latest tool to teach kids about parenthood.
You need to figure out what time it is to be a parent, whether you're ready at 15, 16, 17, or whether it is you should wait.
In the past, a parenting class might have used a sack of sugar or a sack of flour to simulate a baby. Now these new lifelike babies will do something a sack of sugar can never do.
These are much more realistic babies. They cry and tell whether they've been abused or neglected, let you know a little bit about what's happened to them while they've been gone.
The baby's onboard computer can detect what happens to the doll, whether it's dropped, handled roughly, or even left alone when it cries.
That it's not just put it away for a couple hours, play with it, and then put it away. It cries. It needs to be held. It needs to be loved and everything like that. I mean, just like a baby would. I think it really wakes you up to what it's like to have a child. Puts you in situations that, you know, you're not sure what to do all the time, you know.
To make sure the parent is the only one to take care of the baby, the probe that is used to stop the crying is attached to a hospital band on the student's wrist. If they don't take care of the baby, the tamper-proof computer will tell the teacher. And while neglect won't hurt the baby, it could hurt the student's grade. In Kennewick, Jim Carey, ABC Local News.
The dolls cost about $250 each. The school was able to buy the new dolls with grants from the March of Dimes and Benton County. The school will lend them to youth groups, hospitals, parenting groups, and other schools in the community. Striking musicians chanted outside the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle tonight, but the show did go on. That's coming up, and coming up a little later at about 33 after the hour, we'll take you to the annual Sportsman Show for all the new hot outdoor toys.
Before you go exploring in the great terrain, its available V8 delivers plenty of raw power. Its improved suspension tames those rough trails. And the dual airbags help protect you from the unexpected.
Hey, Columbus, how about a hand?
It's also got the most interior room in its class.
Plus, Ford Explorer can now save you up to $1,400 at your Northwest Ford dealer.
Home of 5 of the top 10 sellers in America again.
It's enough for an entire meal.
Right now, you can get a mouth-watering hamburger, a small order of crispy golden fries, and a small refreshing Coca-Cola Classic for just $1.49. The all-American meal, now just $1.49. McDonald's, a full meal for a handful of change.
Imagine actually enjoying winter driving.
It's easy if you choose a new Mercury Mountaineer now.
Imagine V8 power standard.
Mountaineer gives you V8 power, the control of all-wheel drive, and more interior space than Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Can you imagine a better place to spend the winter?
And Mountaineer's priced even less than you'd imagine, just $27,995. Get into one now and enjoy the rest of the winter.
Don't wait for spring. See your Mercury dealer now.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
The get up and go in our powerful V8 was inspired one afternoon by some struggling off-roaders. Jeep, there's only one, and right now you can get a great deal on the luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited at your local Jeep and Eagle dealer. Where else? Somehow, you always know a Jeep owner's home when you see one. Jeep, there's only one, and right now you can lease a new Grand Cherokee for just $299 a month. See it at your local Jeep and Eagle dealer. Where else?
A jury is hearing testimony on whether Gurley Crum Jr. should get the death penalty. Also today, a former cellmate told jurors Crum was bragging about slashing the throats of some people. The jury deliberated just 5 hours yesterday before finding Crum guilty of killing a family of 5 at a trailer park along the coast. The 5, including 2 young children, all had their throats slashed. Their murders happened 3 days after Crum finished a jail term for a parole violation. Prosecutors haven't said straight out Crum's motive, but that is expected to be brought up in the penalty phase of the trial. Prosecutors are also seeking the death penalty against the man accused of killing a 12-year-old Longview girl. Joseph Condro is accused of kidnapping, raping, and killing Kara Rudd. She disappeared on her way to school last November. Her body was found last month west of Longview. Condro has pleaded innocent to the murder charge. He also faces 2 unrelated charges of sexual offenses against juveniles. Curtain went up tonight for the first time in Seattle for the Broadway musical Beauty and the Beast. Last night was supposed to be the first performance since the musicians went on strike with new replacement musicians, but there was a bomb threat. Tonight, striking musicians and union supporters chanted and paraded outside the theater. Talks did not resume this afternoon, but neither side is talking to media about the status of the talks. Talks will resume tomorrow. Former U.S. Senator Bob Packwood got a warm reception and a standing ovation in his first public speech since he left office 2 years ago. About 200 people showed up at the Hilton in downtown Portland today to hear Packwood's speech. Packwood is now working as a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. He says he does not rule out the idea of one day returning to public life. He resigned after the Senate Ethics Committee recommended he be expelled for several violations, including uninvited sexual advances toward women and colleagues, soliciting jobs from lobbyists for his former wife, and altering his diaries to obstruct the investigation. Some satisfaction today for some dissatisfied customers. A class action suit over extended warranties has been settled. Many people have purchased appliances from Smith's Home Furnishings, but then the company went out of business a year and a half ago, shortchanging hundreds of customers who had bought extended warranties. Under today's agreement, GE would resume warrant service. The man convicted of assassinating Martin Luther King Jr. may get another trial. Coming up, how new technology could prove whether James Earl Ray's rifle was the rifle that killed King.
There is a place where it's still a pleasure to buy a car. For over 25 years, Tom Denchel Ford Mercury has offered honesty, integrity, and friendly professional service. Tom Denchel Ford Mercury stocks over 400 vehicles, including 5 of the top 10 selling vehicles in America. The Ford Explorer, Taurus, F-Series truck, and the all-new Mercury Tracer. For the best deal on a new or quality used vehicle, visit Tom Denchel Ford Mercury in Prosser or Sunnyside. It's a short drive to satisfaction.
Low prices getting better every day. That's gotta make you smile. Always low prices, always Walmart.
Dodge Stratus, #1 in power versus Accord. #1 in standard equipment versus Altima. #1 in resale versus Contour. And now Dodge Stratus announces one more one, the Dodge #1 lease sale. For just $199 a month, you can lease a new Dodge Stratus, just named one of Car and Driver's 10 best cars for the second straight year. The Dodge #1 lease sale on #1 Dodge cars and trucks. This sale ends February 28th.
We at McKinney's Auto Glass appreciate our customers who patronize locally owned businesses like ours. Your business makes it possible for us in turn to help support local charities and community projects that make the Yakima Valley a better place to live.
We're committed to giving you the best service and workmanship possible. The next time you need your auto glass replaced or a rock chip repaired, tell your insurance company your choice is McKinney's Auto Glass.
For the first time since the hostage situation began in Peru, the rebel leader who led the takeover left the compound to talk. Leftist rebels still hold 72 hostages in the Japanese ambassador's residence in Lima. They've been in captivity now for more than 2 months. Today, leader Nestor Serpa talked with a negotiator. They talked for more than 3 hours. This is the first time Serpa has left the residence since this all began. The man convicted of assassinating Martin Luther King Jr. may get another trial. King's family says that's the only way to find out if James Earl Ray is the real killer. There was a hearing today that's supposed to be the first phase of getting a new trial for Ray. Leon Gray has that report.
We're here hopefully to encourage the court to let the nation have a shot at the truth, which it's never really had because James Earl Ray never had a trial.
With that comment from a man who holds the office that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once held, over 100 people filed into Judge Brown's courtroom today to begin work on a new trial for James Earl Ray. Although Ray wasn't present, his brother echoed his thoughts.
This thing was filed, a motion was filed to reopen the case before he came out with liver disease, or before he knew he had the liver disease. But now it's really important so we can clear up the unanswered questions before he dies. He's only got a few months to live.
In this hearing, both sides argued for a new type of ballistic testing to be allowed on the alleged murder weapon. King's widow and son were in court to demonstrate their support.
Even if no new light is shed on the facts concerning my husband's assassination, at least we and the nation can have the satisfaction of knowing that justice has run its course in this tragedy.
We owe it to the American people. We owe it to this community, the state of Tennessee, the community of Memphis, to remove this blemish, to, for once and for all, try and do the right thing in the name of truth and justice.
In the end, Judge Brown ruled the gun should be tested using the new technology, and though it wasn't clear at the time, a press conference that followed corrected that. In downtown Memphis, Leon Gray.
Lots of Pac-10 basketball action tonight. The Cougars and the Huskies are playing.
That's right. The Cougars, the Huskies, and Oregon all playing top 25 teams. So
good games.
Could have been a rough night. Yeah, some good games. We'll tell you about that coming up in sports. Pac-10 basketball takes center stage, but not over some local high school sports. The Valley A begins their district tournament. We'll tell you who's winning and who's losing. Sports is next.
Is this checking plan really free?
Absolutely.
Not so fast.
Vamos.
From Washington Mutual.
Get them!
Nice tight.
Wait a second! Maybe I was wrong. Maybe like Washington Mutual, we too should offer free checking. It's actually free without hidden charges. What am I saying? I just bought a boat. Get them.
Truth, justice, and free checking.
Say you're sorry.
Ow, Grandma, that's my ear.
Here, a home office means the freedom to be closer to the things you love. The very same things that can take you away from the phone. But because it's so important to see who called and when, if you order caller ID now, you'll get a free caller ID box, which logs the name, number, date, and time of incoming calls. Call now and the caller ID installation, as well as the caller ID box, is free. Life's better here. U.S. West.
Frank Chevrolet Geo in Wapato, just 8 minutes south of Yakima, has a tremendous inventory of new and used cars and trucks to choose from. And they just got the roomy, all-new 97 Chevy Venture. Roomy enough for people, pets, and cargo, and yet agile enough to park in tight places. Frank's also just took delivery on some beautifully designed, carefully crafted Malibus. Motor Trend's 97 Car of the Year says it all. Don't forget, $49 down at Frank's plus tax and license on approved credit delivers most of their cars and trucks. That's at Frank's in Wapato.
When you're in the market for a truck, go to a truck dealership. In Yakima, that means the Valley Ford Nissan Truck Ranch, where we sell more trucks than anyone else in Central Washington for a lot of very good reasons. Here's just a few. So when you're looking for a truck, why shop anywhere else? The Valley Ford Nissan Truck Ranch, Yakima's #1 truck dealership.
The way Crook and Chase bicker, you'd think they were married.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Couples this much fun only come along once a day.
Match play at the Northwest Classic got underway tonight. That means only 24 bowlers remain, all vying for the title of the 97 Northwest Classic. As we take a look at the leaderboard, some high stakes going on as defending champion and player of the year Walter Ray Jr. doing pretty well. He sits in 6th place and had a 279 in his first match play game, but his opponent Peter Weber did him better. Came away with a perfect game of 300 to win the match. But the man of this tournament thus far, Mr. Brian Voss, he is running away with the #1 spot with shots like that. As we take a look at the leaderboard, Mr. Voss way out in front with 1,151 plus points. Tim Chris is a distant second, followed by Mr. Weber. Don Mosier is in the 4th spot, and rounding out the top 5, Bob Learn is in 5th. Some high-stakes high school basketball being played tonight. The Valley A District Tournament kicked off. For our first game, we head to Zilla, where the Leopards taking on the Royal Knights. Zilla pumped up on defense. The Leopards, Kenneth Johnson with the block, but Royal's Jed Wardenair gets it back, puts it up in. Zilla went to their great pumpkin shooter, though. Big Kurt Pentecost. His game clicking down low and the foul. Royal stayed in the game with plays like this. Devin Dixon with the coast-to-coast layup, but Zilla and Pentecost proved to be just too much. The inside hoop for the Leopards. Zilla goes on for the win, 84-74 over Royal. In Connell, the Eagles were taking on the Natchez Rangers. Kids are just smoking way too young these days. Connell's Lance Marquette with a miss, but Boyd Clyde is there for the rebound and the putback. The Rangers put up a good fight as Brian Thompson hits the shot down low, but the Eagles prove their game is just too good down low. Marquette this time getting it to go, 68-61. Connell beats Natchez. Connell will play Zilla on Saturday in a winner-to-state game. The Riverview Panthers in Highland were taking on the Scotties in Highland, actually. Highland dominated on their home court. Carlos Kisneros with the long jumper for the Scotties. Riverview tried to make it interesting. Matt Haugen driving, stopping, popping, getting it to go. But Highland, kings of the hill this night. Kisneros to Lance Harding, who scores inside. Highland wins 64-44. The Scotties play Goldendale on Saturday because Goldendale is a winner over Dayton tonight, 59-39. On Saturday, Natchez and Roy will play in a loser-out game. Also, Riverview will play Dayton. One other score to tell you about. Pendleton is a winner over Hermiston, 55-50. The Yakima Sun Kings are looking to a former Pac-10 star to strengthen their home court. The Sun Kings acquired former NBA first-round draft choice and Arizona State standout Mario Bennett in a trade today. Yakima sent what they call future considerations to the Grand Rapid Hoops for Bennett and a 4th-round draft choice next year. The Sun Kings hope Bennett can join the team as soon as next week or so. What do Washington State, and Oregon all have in common? They were all playing top 25 teams in the Pac-10 this afternoon, or actually this evening. We start out with the Cougars hosting 20th ranked Stanford. Brevin Knight doing what he's been doing all year long, gets the steal and then the hoop on the other end. And if he's hitting like that and then he's hitting from the outside, you're in trouble. And he was the 3-ball. Good. Isaac Fontaine in the second half tries to bring the Cougars back. He nails the 3 ball. In fact, they were within striking distance late in the game, but Mark Madsen would put the nail in the coffin with the big dunk down low. 76-63, Stanford is a winner over the Cougars. The Washington Huskies didn't have much easier of a time hosting 22nd ranked California Huskies running early. Nice alley-oop to Mark Sanford for the nearly dunk. Jamie Booker led the Huskies. Booker scored 19, including these 2 on the Husky break, but the Golden Bears came out of hibernation. Ed Gray with the inside hoop, scoring big time all year long. California wins 78-67. The Oregon Ducks had an even tougher task hosting the 13th ranked Arizona Wildcats, but they were up to the task. Jamal Lawrence with the 3 for the Ducks, and then it's Jason Terry, the steal for Arizona, gets the hoop on the other end, but then they had a little guy for Oregon. Kenya Wilkins going down with the trees. He gets the hoop, and Oregon gets the big upset, 78-72. Also, Oregon State beat Arizona State 71-67 tonight.
So the Pac-10 teams, the only one that won was Oregon.
Oregon, yeah. Huskies and the Cougars, not much left.
And I recognize that little girl who was smoking too early.
Yeah.
She's pretty cute. More sports coming up. Coming up, we're going to take you to the annual Sportsman Show at the Yakima Sundome for a preview.
Tonight's Northwest Sportsman is sponsored by Weimar, where it's like a sale every day.
When you're in the market for a truck, go to a truck dealership. In Yakima, that means the Valley Ford Nissan Truck Ranch, where we sell more trucks than anyone else in Central Washington for a lot of very good reasons. Here's just a few. So when you're looking for a truck, why shop anywhere else? The Valley Ford Nissan Truck Ranch, Yakima's #1 truck dealership.
Pepsi theft can happen anywhere, anytime. Fight back. Introducing the Pepsi Club. Now Pepsi moments don't have to become anxious moments.
Excuse me.
What you were about to see did not actually happen, but it could happen.
They took everything! Look, Ma, the Pepsi Club works.
Not today. Thank you, Pepsi Club.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
Available in 6-pack.
Tonight's White Pass Ski Update is brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Yakima.
Hi, Kathleen here for White Pass, and as you can see, the conditions are perfect. We've picked up over 16 inches in the last 24 hours. And cross-country skiers, come check out our new 3.5K loop. And next weekend, mark your calendar, March 1st and 2nd, the White Pass Winter Carnival. We'll see you there.
Got a big burger appetite? Then think DQ Daily Double from Dairy Queen. You'll savor a mouth-watering, hearty third of a pound burger, now only 99 cents. With 2 home-style all-beef patties, it stacks up 33% more beef than Whopper, more beef than Big Mac. The DQ Daily Double. Heavy on beef, light on price. Only 99 cents at participating Dairy Queen stores, where there's always more value when you think DQ.
KAPP 35 News welcomes your comments. You can now contact us online at KAPP35@efcom.com or directly through Yakima Online.
The big Sportsman Show opens tomorrow at the Yakima Sundome. It's supposed to have a little bit of everything. Mike Baumeller reports.
This year's Central Washington Sportsman Show is coming together in a big way. There are big boats, big bass bins, and really big elk mounts. In fact, this show will feature what's likely the biggest set of Rocky Mountain elk horns in the world. This monster is part of Alan Ellsworth's elk horn display.
This bull is so massive that the hunter had to cut into the antler to get his metal game tag to actually fit on it.
An Arizona hunter harvested the bull in 1968. Ellsworth says the antlers hung in a garage until about 2 years ago, when by chance he saw them go by in the back of a truck.
You know, 30 seconds either way, I'd have never seen the truck. I could have pulled out in front of him, never seen him, or he could have got far enough ahead of me, I'd have never known. So just luck.
In addition to the big elk, there will be big ponds for kids to fish in and big displays for the adults to look at. Sounds trite, but organizer Merle Schuler says with around 100 exhibitors, this show will be bigger and better than past years. He says the start of the outdoor season is not far away, and this is a good way to kick it off.
Yeah, generally, you know, we had a lot of snow this winter, and spring's kind of around the corner, and people just looking for something to do, and the Sportsman Show would be a good place to go see what's new and get started.
As you can see, there's a lot to see down here at the Central Washington Sportsman Show, and it runs for 3 days. On Friday, you can catch it from 1 to 9. Saturday, it's open from 10 to 8, and on Sunday, it's open 10 to 6. For the Northwest Sportsman, I'm Mike Balmelli.
That fish tank looks fun. You can go.
Yeah.
But they say it's only for kids. That doesn't seem very fair.
We can sneak some.
We'll take your daughter. They'll never know. Have a great night and have a great weekend.
February 20th, 1997.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, 39 years old, was assassinated in Memphis tonight.
Yard detectives arrested James Earl Ray. He's accused of murder.
He first pled guilty to murder, but soon claimed he's innocent.
Well, first I didn't kill Dr. King.
And now he wants the trial he never had. But time is running out.
He's got a chance if you get leverage, but if you don't get leverage, he'll be dead in 3 or 4 months.
And the call for a trial has some surprising supporters.
A trial for Mr. Ray is our last hope to reveal the truth about my husband's assassination.
Tonight, James Earl Ray and the King family unite on a common goal.
This is ABC.